This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 4, up on YouTube Live. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on today?
What's going on? How are we feeling this afternoon?
Boys, we have a serious psychological problem with one of the fearless leaders of our TSN group.
Oh, yeah? What do we got?
James Duthie.
Oh, no.
He, in his golf game, he's got problems. I heard a story from an executive yesterday, and this is what happened. He was telling me about his problems on the driving range.
Okay.
And he said, I might have to use Jimmy's golf coach from Germany.
Oh, he's going to Germany to get lessons now.
Via Skype, and this is how it went. I'm not kidding. He Skypes with a guy from Germany, and this is how he got this guy. He goes to the Masters every year, as we all know, and he sees that stinky little Bernie Longer at the chipping area, and his caddy or his coach or whatever standing there, and Jimmy goes up and, like, he had access, and he just was chatting with the coach or whatever. And the coach was, yeah, I do, like, I teach whoever, yeah. And Jimmy goes, well, would you help me? Like, how could we work that out? He goes, give me your info, and I could Skype. So Jimmy now works with Bernie Longer's coach via Skype. That's how messed up this guy is.
Well, I mean, listen, Bernie, he's got 2 green jackets, right? The guy still dominates.
I know, but you know that Duthie has psychological problems. I watched Duthie.
I've seen him play. I know what it's all about. But...
No, I know, but you don't know, like, analyzing it and stuff. I sat behind him, and I was very worried. We were watching a hockey game because we were doing a hit on it after. And he had a video of his swing, and he went revert, like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
1,000.
Well, you got to make sure if you're working on something, right? If it's a wrist hinge, if it's a weight transfer.
Dude, the guy's 58 years old.
Things.
There's some people, I know you can practice and work on things, but what you bring to the dance at this particular point, you're pretty much bringing it to the dance. Nothing's not going to improve
more or less,
anymore.
You're right.
I was envisioning like Tin Cup. He had like the helmet on with the swinging thing in front. Like,
that's him. That's him.
He's done that before. Like I'm pretty sure almost every gadget available, Duthie has tried. I've never heard of anyone going across the ocean looking for help. I mean,
Skyping. But he weasels up to Bernie Longer's coach at Augusta and says, what about me?
I guess you got it. You're not going up to Scotty Scheffler's coach, right? You're not going to go up to McIlroy's coach. You can't go up to Brad Faxon and say, can you help me out?
Dude, that's why he did it. He took advantage of it because he knew Scotty's coach would say, call security and
get out of here.
But
You're losing your badge.
Coaching, I understand, and I respect that. But, like, the coach might look at him and go, I can't help you. Like, you know, it might just be – it might be a cash grab.
Well,
like,
Jamie, have you ever had
Austin Matthews shooting coach? Oh, he's going to make you – if Hayes, you walked in and went to Chesswood and said, hey, I've got Austin Matthews shooting coach on Skype here. He's going to take one look at your wrist shot and go – I can't help you.
Obviously, but if I'm paying him $500 an hour, he'll say, I'll give it a shot.
Exactly, and that's what this guy's rinsing James Duthie.
That's exactly what's going on right now. That's I would love to know.
I'd be curious of the cost.
You got to find out what he's paying that guy.
$1,000 an hour. That's
guys, please, can you humor me? Can you humor me?
Right.
Before the first break, all we need is 3 or 4 minutes. We got to cold call Duthie and find out what he's paying the guy from Germany.
He's not going to admit that.
He will.
He's not doing it for free. Why would the guy do anything for anyone for
Jamie,
free?
you think a guy is Skyping Duthie at 4 o'clock in the morning Germany time to watch Duthie in his grubby underpants in his basement swinging a club?
Yeah, no chance.
He might have hazard pay to see that, too. Like, it's probably 250 euros an hour. That would be my guess.
I would think so. And I would, if I know Duthie,
$400
if I know Duthie, he's abusing the kind of client-coach relationship and boundaries. Yeah. Sending the guy messages at 2 in the morning.
How about this one? just parred 10.
Right, exactly. Updates, live updates. And the guy's like, oh, great,
Listen,
good job.
I'm all on.
Damn it, I made a 3-putt on 11.
Yeah, might need some extra training here. I just 3-putted 11.
But, that is listen, if you can do it, have at it.
Yeah.
I see coaches every day, people that put in hard work at minor hockey and all of that. God love them. These people have to deal with crazy parents and crazy people and all of that. They should get hazard pay for all of that.
Well, but it is a quid pro quo. There is some, if you put elite on something, that means I can charge you $1,500 for the
dude,
camp.
I'm gonna start in the fall. I'm gonna start teaching
the elite training camp. That
I worry
is
about
$1,500 a day.
Guys.
Your bedside manner will not be very good.
Oh,
Noodles.
this guy's not coaching kids or something, dude. Are you nuts?
Shut up! I'm being dead. You want to ruin an entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I am. I'm ruining it right now. Before you go bankrupt. You're going to go bankrupt before it even starts.
I'm just saying, you will literally say to somebody, just pick up your ball and leave. I'm sorry,
No.
I can't help you.
Here's what I'm going to do. And I want to start this because I think I know what I'm talking about, and I know it better than a lot of people because I did it at a higher level. I just want to help some high-level kids shooting the puck and quick release.
That you
work.
could do.
I like
That
that
you could
idea.
do.
What did you think I was talking about? Golfing?
I thought you were talking about golfing.
No.
He's not qualified to help.
Al's
Although he
brother
could.
goes out on the course, and you start criticizing him and going, your swing is a mess.
No, I would give the Brett Favre advice. There's a famous quote from Brett Favre. He watched one of his teammates golfing on the range, and the teammate asked for advice. And Brett Favre said, take 2 weeks off and then quit.
It's great advice. It's probably
It's great
accurate
advice. Take 2 weeks off and then quit.
Oh, shooting coach? Oh, I'm all for it.
Honestly, Jamie, that's something that interests me because I see guys that, played not to discredit what their credentials are, but I think it's something that I'm passionate about, shooting and how to do it and timing and all that stuff. And I think I can help, and I'm looking into ways that I'm going to start doing it in the fall.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm being dead serious because you're being serious.
I am being serious.
You're being serious, so I'm going to be dead serious.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you going to weave analytics into the shooting camp where you should be on the ice, right? The best place to get open, the best, scoring opportunities. These are part of the numbers, right? Like we grew up with, there's basically 5 holes you can shoot at, right? Your glove hand, low glove, low stick, blocker, 5-hole.
I do not need analytics for any of that type of nonsense.
I don't know if you could be an elite camp
here's
in 2026
here's the
the
only thing I do because I'm a visual person. I would watch. There's a thing called what is it? Something barn where you can watch.
Live barn.
If a kid wants help, I can go watch a game on Live Barn or be at it in person and see the different areas that he likes to shoot from, or that's where he likes to get the puck or do whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm talking and you can also get the NHL comparable of a guy that runs those patterns, gets in those positions, how he shoots the puck. And that's what
instinct,
you do.
Man.
Instinct. What do you think I'm going to do? What do you think I'm going to do? Accumulate numbers?
Well, I mean, here's the scary thing is this is music to the ears of a lot of parents because, you're a 40-goal scorer with a great shot, but you're shooting as much as I know shooting. You have to be naturally talented at that. You have to have forearms of steel. You need to have strength.
Dude, you're wrong. You're dead wrong, and I'm going to tell you why. When I got to the NHL, Brian, my shot was an absolute muffin, and my release was a joke. And guess who pulled me aside and said, if you want to score goals in the big leagues, this is how you got to do it. Guess who did that?
Ron Francis.
No.
Brendan Shanahan.
Bang on. He said you have to get the puck, and it's Joe from the Bridge. Get some clips of my quick release, and I'm gonna do an advertisement for my business.
I love it. Sign up for shooting lessons with Coach O-Dog.
Elite
you see the headline?
shooting. Elite.
Don't kid yourself. You're going to be coming out on the ice the odd time too. I'll pay you.
I don't think so.
You're going to come out on the ice.
What I'm saying, I don't like to go out on the ice anymore. I watch as a parent now. I like to support the people that are helping. If I need to, I'll come out. But my point being is, I'm just going to say this: Jason Strudwick has a D camp. And apparently it's wildly, wildly popular at Edmonton.
So that guy has a
so
camp, and he brings kids out into the front of the net and cross-checks them in the back and gets paid for it.
Strutty
does
game,
skill development. What I'm saying, though, I think you can do this, and I'll tell you why, and I think you'd be great. So you guys know that there's a goaltender seminar every summer. The Goalie Guild puts it on, a guy named Justin Goldman. So I would go a couple of years, and they started bringing in shooting coaches and basically picking their brains, because what's happened is the goalies try to get ahead of the shooters. Now the shooters are getting ahead of the goaltenders. Every guy's got a shooting coach, a skills coach, all of that type of stuff. So as much as the goalies are looking at the shooters are now looking at goalies. And they brought in a guy from Vancouver named Ron Johnson, and he was Joe Pavelski's coach. And Pavelski's one of the best tippers in, really, I think in one of the history of the game. Like a guy, unbelievable stick. And he started talking about quadrants, where shooters like to go now. The blind, you got a pass in the slot. You're not thinking, okay, what is he giving me? I've got to hit a quadrant. I got to hit the upper top left. So
unfortunately, Jamie, you lost me right there, because I think when the timing is so quick. When you're getting a one-time pass in the slot, the last thing you are thinking about is, I got to put this in a quadrant. Your main goal is, I want to shoot this high, I want to shoot it hard, and I've got to get it off
That's
quickly.
That's what he was talking about. It's exactly where we're on the same. So he's saying, when you look at the analytics of it, 88% of goals are below, 88% of shots in the National Hockey League are glove and lower on the ice. So what they're trying to do is hit the 12%. And you're trying to go on the quadrants that are beside the ears, above the gloves, all of that type of stuff. It was amazing to listen to them talk and present. So you're on to something, but you naturally had a great shot. You've got to incorporate that on your instincts of where to get to the ice, where to quietly get to ice, how you separate yourself away from the puck. All of that stuff you can teach a kid. Like I can't. I can talk about, from a goaltender standpoint, what I see nowadays, but goaltending has evolved. So you're going to have to be up to speed on what these guys are doing now, not to what you did, because the game has changed too.
This or data?
Yes, this or data. And to balance it out, you got Strutty and his camp out in Edmonton who are trying to stop the gaps from being open,
yes,
right? and
long
closing
stick
down on space.
And our buddy Chris Pronger, he's a former D, although he's in the media, he says. He says he's in the media now. Yeah, telling AK and Carlo this morning when they're grilling him, saying, I'm in the media with Carlo and Noodles and O-Dog.
Books and then everything can be thrown out completely when you see kind of the stuff going on in the playoffs last night, like Geeky scores from the red line.
That was
so. Where did UPL go to school?
That was
what goalie school did he learn that?
My heart hurt for him, because that was one of those. Change direction, the Toscala, leaning into it, but then it jumps to the side.
Only in the playoffs at
Allow
home,
the goal, though. Allow the goal, but don't follow it up with a poor performance. And he did, because he got scored on 2 quick ones after that, and that was curtains for Buffalo. I will say this. We haven't given enough credit to Boston. If you've watched both of those games, I think Boston's been the better team.
Yeah.
Over the life of the 2 games. Buffalo stormed back in that last 5 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it was. But if you look at Boston, the fact that they got the lead, that they were playing strong. Boston has been there, done that. Buffalo's still learning. I'm not saying Buffalo's going to lose. I just think that that's a tough lesson to learn last night, because Boston really took it to them.
Yeah, I mean, UPL, again, he gets pulled. Yeah. And all year it's been a tandem there. Like I understand why they went with UPL. I would assume he goes back in for Game 3. But Lyon's been a big part of their success all year. And when you open the door to which goalie could play, then it becomes a storyline. And, outside of 8 minutes, Buffalo has kind of been chasing that series. And now they head back to Boston. And, there won't be a sweep there. There's obviously not going to be a sweep in the Montreal-Tampa series. I think both of those kind of series that we see in terms of the Atlantic Division, they're both going to go deep.
Yeah,
I think they're both
Vegas.
going 7.
Utah, Vegas.
Utah had a great response last night.
They did.
They played well, man. Like they
desperately needed that, man.
And I'll tell you, your LA Kings were very close. They played a really good game.
On.
They did.
But
I'm
the
telling
sweep
you,
is alive still there.
Hazy, don't forget Hazy. Oh, today's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, you got to update the bar play
Yes,
Stanley
I
Cup
will.
playoffs.
100%. I'm taking notes on a daily basis. And I'm very intrigued on where this could go between now and tomorrow night, because we got more games tonight. Edmonton back in action, and tomorrow we'll be teeing up Game 3 of Tampa and Montreal. And that was a great game again last night. I think it was a great game. It was really a feisty game. There were fights. There was 25 guys in the box at the same time. It was back into overtime. It was just an awesome game. Like, through 2 games, that sets up to be, in my opinion, a 7-game barn burner, and that's exactly what you would expect with 2 really good teams.
And I was glad, like, Slavkovsky fought. Hagel's a scrappy guy, man.
Dude,
but
that guy's an animal.
Hagel is, like, you think about it, how many people criticize, and I'm sure we did too, what Tampa gave up for Brandon Hagel.
Do you want to know why people were doing that, Jamie, including myself? Is because he was like this relatively unknown. Like, he was He was this guy. He was an unknown, and it's all of a sudden 2 firsts for that guy.
Wow, and to think, and they signed him to a long-term deal, and people are like, you had to trade for him, and now you're justifying the trade. This guy he's a gamer, man. Like, and I will say he's gotten better in Tampa. Doesn't hurt to work with Kucherov in the offseason and play with him and that. But this guy has jam. And good for Slavkovsky, too. He's not a natural fighter.
I love that he took that fight on.
Exactly. Dropped the gloves. Yeah, Hagel got him with one. So what? He got right back up and tried to fight. Hagel was like, nope, I'm done now that I've knocked you down. Like, at the end of the day, I worry that Tampa was going out of their way to try and be bullies. And Montreal has stood up to it, which good for them. But that Josh Anderson, man, he's an animal, too.
He's in their kitchen right now. Like, everyone in
He might
Tampa,
be on the bar play list tomorrow.
He's incredibly high on that bar play list, as he should be. I mean, he's the only guy on the Habs who have scored an even-strength goal. He's got 2 of them, and he had 1 called back. He's throwing hits. He's been in the middle. Like, he was throwing monster hits through 2 games in Tampa, and that will continue. And he's not fighting Sabourin. Like, you look at Danny Sabourin and say, are you nuts? You think I'm fighting? Go fight
You want to talk about the ultimate
Scott Sabourin, not Danny
You want to talk about the ultimate underpants cam.
Him.
I wanted it on him when the ref originally said 5 minutes.
Yes.
He was in the penalty box, and his eyes went cross-eyed, and I thought, wow. Oh, my God, that guy must be crapping his pants if he ends this game right now.
I'm sorry. Like, they put him in, and I will say this. He can skate. Like, for a guy who's tough, he's a good skater. He's got good hands and all of that. But that's on Coop. He's out there with 2 minutes left in the game and a 2-2 tie and takes that penalty. Man, oh, man, like, they are lucky they sidestepped that because you're right. That was close to a 5. I don't know if it raised to the level. Maybe if that was a Tuesday in November, it's probably a 5. But him, the underpants cam, and the fact that they made it through that, because if Montreal scores in the power play there, we are today talking about why is he on the ice with 2 minutes left in the game.
All the tough guys I ever played with, Jamie, they knew that they couldn't take a stupid penalty because it would just be so costly as far as their ice time.
And I don't mind him being in the lineup, Hayes, but there is usually at that point – This guy is done for the night. You know what I mean? Like, they've shortened the bench and all that. Now, it may speak to how much momentum, and he was trying to fight guys, and they were aware when he was on the ice. I will say that. But that's a bad penalty to take, and they were lucky. And I feel bad for Kirby Dach today.
Penalty to take.
Dach
I don't think it was
side?
a 5. Like, I'm fine with it being 2. It's the playoffs, and I didn't like that Anderson got a 2-minute charging the game before. Yeah. I think that was 2 minutes too many. So I'm okay with it being 2, and they killed it. Now they'll play it off like, well, Sabourin was great. And Pat Maroon was tweeting about that last night. Pat will join us in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes on that. But, I like Slavkovsky going with Hagel, and it's not about winning or losing. It's about taking the fight, man.
Yeah.
You know, what gets remembered is who shows up and, more importantly, who doesn't. Right? Yes. And we know a lot of players in hockey history who have said, no thanks, I'm not taking that fight on.
But the other thing is, Brian, like, there's a bunch of guys on the Montreal Canadiens and all the teams throughout the playoffs. Not only will they take it on or say, okay, this is the playoffs, they're actually initiating it. Like, Brandon Hagel is wandering all over the ice, and Corey Perry and, like, all of them. And they're just like, who wants to just get involved? Because it's competition. Yeah, well, we've always talked about the Leafs for years. It's like they're out there and they're like, we're just trying to kind of win the game here if we can, and it's just like it comes out so much.
Yeah, and furthermore, Florida's not around. So there's a bully. Like Tampa got bullied by Florida. Like Florida literally punted them multiple times and said, go stand in the corner. Like you can't run with us. They beat them on the scoreboard. They beat them in the alley. And Hagel was right in front and center on that. Like Hagel was throwing hits and fights and all that kind of stuff. Tampa was trying to get up for the fight, but they couldn't. Now Florida's not there. And if you're Tampa, I think they're looking at this saying, we'll take that title. We'll take that label as the team no one wants to play against, or the team that's going to challenge your wherewithal. And what separates Hagel from other players like a Sabourin, even like an Anderson, who I love, but Anderson's playing on the fourth line, is Hagel's a star. Like Hagel is a star player. He's been arguably the best player in the series through 2 games. He kills penalties. He's on the power play. He's on the top. He's going to play 20 minutes a night. So if Slafkovsky doesn't take that fight, he's just going to keep going and going and going. It's like not to the same level as Marchand and Sedin back in the day, but it's not far off. Like he was basically staring at Slafkovsky saying, what are you going to do about it? And I think it was really important that Slafkovsky said, this is what I'm going to do about it. Let's go. Yeah. You got to. Like, I understand Caulfield's not going to fight, and Suzuki's not going to fight, and Hudson's not going to fight. Neither's Kucherov, right? Neither's Sorelli's probably not going to fight. Point's not going to fight. So there's guys that square off in other areas. But if you're a 6'4", 220, and you're looking down on a guy who's challenging you, you got to take that on, and Slafkovsky did last night.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Like and you got to be careful because Hagel can fight. Like that's a Saskatchewan kid that can throw.
He's a scrappy kid, man. Like
he can throw. But
good on him.
Pat Maroon coming up in 10. We've got Frankie Curado on today. Jerry's percentages. The Jays are in action. We'll track what's going on there. The Raptors back in action tomorrow night. LeBron, unbelievable again last night. It's incredible what he's doing at 41 years old. And there's a lot to get into in terms of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we're still waiting on what's going to happen with the Leafs and whether or not they're going to hire a GM, a president of hockey ops. Is that going to happen this week, next week, or further down the line? Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Pat Maroon here in a few moments. Frankie Curado will join us. Got the under-18 starting up, right? We got the World Championships around the corner. You got CHL playoffs still going, Memorial Cup around the corner. The draft lottery coming up in a couple of weeks. That's a big night for Canadian content with Vancouver and Calgary and Toronto and Winnipeg all in the hunt. Something's going to go. Something crazy's going to happen that night.
Do you think one Canadian team's going to get it?
Yeah, I'm going to put some money on that. I'll put some money on that.
That's the biggest gripe I'm getting now from Leafs Nation. Like, just after they lost the 3 games after the Olympic break, like, shut the mill and secure a top 5er. You know what I mean?
Right. Tank with, like, significance.
Dignity.
Shut down Nylander. Shut down your goalies.
Yes.
And lose.
Yeah.
They still lost a ton.
Oh, they did.
It's not like they were
lost
winning.
a ton organically.
Yes,
that's
they
crazy.
But there was some unnecessary victories, man, where it was like, really?
Yeah, I know. Had to go into Anaheim and pick up a win. Had to get that extra point in L.A.
I would have told every good player on the team in Anaheim, I would have said, boys, go surfing, have fun tonight. You're not playing.
Right.
You're not playing.
Well, either way, there's going to be sparks, right, with the Leafs. Either they keep their pick, they move up, they lose their pick, and it's going to drive conversation into the offseason.
What's the best, like, honestly, in your opinion, what's the best case scenario for them? Like, just pick 5th, they keep their pick and move on with life?
No, win the lottery. If you're going to keep your pick, win the lottery.
Okay, so win the lottery, but I'm saying keep your pick. So win the lottery, get 1st, or keep your pick and you're 5th. Or what? You drop, somebody else wins the lottery and you drop to what, 6th, and you hand that to Boston.
Yeah, I think it's to just win the lottery now. I know there's a lot of concern among a portion of the fan base of the fact that they don't have control over their next 2 picks, right? Boston and Philly are going to get their next 2 picks, and they could be going south. This stretch run could be a sign of what is about to come, and maybe you hand Boston the 1st overall pick instead of a 6th or 7th overall pick. And that's possible, but if I'm the Leafs, you take whatever you can get and guarantee. In other words, if you get a first overall pick, it's not going to be better than that next year. You know, a first overall pick is a first overall pick. If you like McKenna, if that's who the player is, or whoever you think it might be, you get him in your system and you start moving, right? Like I think I can reason with that, especially if it's a given that they're going to try and be competitive next year. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not convinced how they're going to be able to do that, but I'd rather, if I'm the Leafs, get a good pick now, know you've got it, and roll the dice on what's going to happen the next 2 years. And those picks are gone. Like, ultimately, the damage is done. Trades are over. You can't call Philly back and ask for your pick back.
That's the bizarre thing about all this. Like, if they have to – if there's changes, and everybody knows what kind of changes I'm talking about, and, like, you're going to try to reboot this thing without those picks, like, what a daunting task.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. But that's where if certain players, powerful players, decide this isn't for me anymore, and you make big trades,
you're going to recoup that.
That's the question. I mean, if you're a proponent of this team just can't do it, and the best players have proven for a decade they're not capable of dragging them to the promised land, and I think, again, there's a large portion of the fan base that is a believer in that, then I can argue win the lottery now, trade Matthews, trade Nylander, and that's how you restart the rebuild. Like, yes, you don't have those two picks. The only way.
If you let these guys both kind of filter out of the organization and get nothing for them, would be asinine.
Exactly.
Asinine.
Exactly.
No, if they
you either need
a
commitment long term or you're trading them like this summer.
Yeah.
That seems like the only option. That's the fork in the road.
I agree. If they depart the organization, you need to get the king's ransom for them. And, you know, that's right now. That's not in a year and a half.
Is that possible, though, Jamie, if Austin Matthews says, check, please, out of here, and there's not really much leverage when you know?
I disagree on that, and here's why. Quinn Hughes, we don't know what the narrative was, but Quinn Hughes is known as a top-tier defenseman.
Yeah. Well, the narrative was he told Jimmy Rutherford that he's not re-signing, so he said, okay, I got to trade you.
So they're to Brian's point, and again, I don't want to start anything here. If he decides that he doesn't want to stomach whatever's being put in front of him, or he decides he wants to move on, then he puts that in front of the new manager, and they work together to find a new home. And they will get a lot for Austin Matthews. They get a lot for William Nylander. Again, if he wants to move on, or they say you've got to move on. That's the biggest challenge, because they might want to stay, and the new person might say, actually, I think it's best for this and this and this. And Keith Pelly, an organization, has to sign off it. That's why I think it's a critical summer here for the Leafs.
100%. The next, who they hire, what happens with that lottery, and what happens with their best players are all going to be determined in the next, month, 6 weeks. This is pivotal what's about to happen.
Yes.
Stanley Cup playoffs continuing tonight. Edmonton back in action. Ottawa back in action tomorrow. Habs Lightning coming up as well. That series tied. And a guy who's familiar with what's going on down in Tampa was a former Lightning player, Cup winner, back on OverDrive. Here's Pat Maroon. How you doing, Pat?
Doing better now that I got to beat O-Dog's ass in Tampa in golf. So,
look at this rat snake! What a rat snake! You know what, Hayes? You have something.
We didn't hear that, Pat. We didn't hear that story.
Details.
Hold on here.
Hayes, you got something.
Him and his buddy Brando.
Hayes, this guy's got something in common with you, because you guys both. You get all these shots in a golf match, and it's amazing how the holes you get the shots on, you turn into Ernie Els in your prime. It's amazing how that happens.
Athletes, competitors.
You're both rat snakes. This guy, the most important hole of the day, he makes this putt, and he's like, I got a shot. Man.
Yeah, 4 for 3, Patty Maroon. 4 for 3.
Yeah. No, I ended it on 17. It wasn't even a stroke hole for me. I just said, I'll just stick it from the bunker, and there you go, birdie. So it's all right, though.
I love it. These two can't handle the heat either, man. I know Brando. He would go into a shell on the back nine of that match. I know exactly
how
they
played great. I had a great partner named Clint, and he is a stick. And let's just say his back was a little heavy, but I made the shots that were important, and we were ham and egging them. That's all that mattered.
I love it. That's all you need to do, man. It's not how, it's how many. And you win more than them, you're going home with the cash. So we were discussing the Sabourin-Anderson hit at the end of the game there, and I saw your tweet, and needless to say, it led to a lot of reaction online. I think you're aware of that. Anderson has been running roughshod all over this series through 2 games, and he's a wanted man. Sabourin challenged him earlier in the game. He wouldn't take it. You're okay with Sabourin getting him, or at least you thought, or I think you believed Tampa would kill that penalty because it was on Anderson. Take us through the kind of thought process of the team dynamic and Sabourin, Anderson, et cetera.
Well, I think people kind of when they read that tweet, they're thinking like, oh, Anderson. But I think Anderson's been one of the best players from both teams. One, just watching the series, he's kind of changed the momentum for the Montreal Canadiens, and what him and Jack have been doing. I think they've been doing a really good job. Anderson looks unbelievable. I think their fourth line has been playing very good hockey, and I think Anderson's been very noticeable. Not only just on the forecheck, but he's going after skill. He's making his presence notice, and he's been a hard task for Tampa Bay. And listen, when you look at Sabourin, and I think Sabourin knows this too, that's a bad trade-off. You know, you have a guy that's can change a series, which in Josh Anderson can change a series, which he has. Game 1, he comes out on the forecheck, he scores that nice goal, he makes that big hit on Datsuk. You know, he's making his physical presence notice. And then the second game, he makes his physical presence notice again and scores a big-time goal. So it was just a matter of time just getting to him. And I think Sabourin, you know, he's not playing a lot. He knows his role. He's a great locker room guy. He's great for that bench. He knows his situation he's in. Maybe with 2 minutes left, you don't take that dumb penalty. But to me, I think that changed the momentum of the game. The PK was a lot better, a lot sharper. People woke up on the bench and in overtime, 5-on-5, they couldn't get past the neutral zone, Montreal. They were a completely different team, Tampa. And that's all because of one player. That's how much he meant to that team, Josh Anderson, which he ended up coming back. I'm glad he came back in overtime. But, you know, he's been a problem for Tampa, and a big problem. And I think it just someone had to do something. And I'm glad Sab stepped up, because I know he's not playing a lot. You know, he's been a huge piece for Tampa this year. He's been a huge addition for the locker room and his presence, making that team feel a little bit bigger on the bench. So, you know, I'm sure he was probably feeling it in the penalty box, but I think the guys knew this. I think the guys knew the situation he was trying to do. I'm sure he was sweating bullets. He's probably like, I'm never playing a playoff game ever again. But it worked out. But, and like Coop said, he goes, I can't control, you know, every minute of the game. You know, he's like, in 58 minutes of the game, I can't control what Sabourin does, right? So it's eventually he's going to snap. And I thought it played into Tampa's favor.
Patty, what is the code for – I know you want to be intense and you want to show the other team you're going to play for keeps with the scrums and the punching the guys in the face. Does that just go on the whole series? Like, does it ever come to an end where it's like you can't take the risk of the ref taking one guy taking a shot? Or is that like it's just going to go on and on as long as these guys want to keep doing it?
It's a bit I don't know how you guys feel. It's been a bit frustrating watching it a bit, because it's been a lot of hugging and grabbing and no one doing anything besides here when Perry said, screw it, I'm going to fight Carrier, and just start throwing haymakers. And then Gensel started doing this stuff. So I think at the end of the day, I think, you know, the refs will probably come in and say something. I'm assuming the league will come in and say, hey, if you guys continue to do this, we're going to have to just take one. You know, we're going to let you guys do this, whatever you want. But if it continues to happen, then eventually they're going to say, I'm going to take one, not just two. So that maybe will stop it a little bit. But, I mean, you got to love this stuff. It amps everything up. It amps the series up. You know, Hagel eventually challenged Sapkowski there, and that was huge. 2 elite players going at it, and the magnitude that place erupted when Hagel, you know, obviously you guys know what happened in that fight, but it's 2 good teams going at it right now. You know, you got to give Montreal credit. They are playing a very mature game. They're the youngest team in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they look like a very mature team right now.
Patty, just a quick follow-up on the two teams. Tampa, I don't know if you agree with this or not, and I know they tied up the series. They haven't looked like they've gotten to their complete game yet. I don't know if you agree with that assessment. Is that more just on their end having to pick it up, or do you give tons of credit to the Habs who have played reasonably well? And for a young kind of team with not a ton of playoff experience, I think they really want to try to challenge to take the next step.
Absolutely, and I think you hit it. I don't think you got to give Montreal credit the way they're playing. I think there's a stat out there. They're number one in forecheck and puck recoveries. So for how skilled they are.
Are you an analytics guy now?
Oh, no. Sometimes I do my homework, O-Dog. But I think that just goes to show you what Marty's, obviously they have skill, but they're doing stuff. They're forcing penalties. They're forcing Tampa to take penalties in their offensive zone, 200 feet from their net, because they're playing sound hockey. They're playing great hockey. They're breaking the puck out. They're getting on the forecheck. They're doing all the little things that playoff hockey needs. Tampa has not gotten to their game, but again, they're a veteran-savvy team, and they know what it takes. That was a very gutsy win. They're going to take that win all day. Game two, they'll take that win, and that's what veteran teams do. They find a way. Cooch kind of broke through last night. Brendan Hagel's been probably arguably the best player on Tampa so far. He's been the one driving the bus. He's the one dragging everyone into the fight with them. It's just he's waiting for the passengers. There's been a few passengers right now, and I think they know that. But again, a veteran team playing against a young team, they can gut those wins out, and those are the teams that find a way.
So, Patty, we were talking before you came on about maybe what Tampa's trying to do a little bit. The last couple of years, they've gone up against Florida, and Florida's just bullied their way through. And you can kind of see maybe is that lessons learned, or is that maybe more what they would like to do to a younger, more inexperienced team in Montreal? Because it seems like there has been scrums, there has been that physicality, and a lot of it has been initiated by Tampa players. And you're wondering, okay, are they going to try and drag them into a street fight and see if Montreal will push back? But it just seems like they want to play. We know what Tampa's capable from a skill standpoint, but now they're pushing back the physical part. Do you think that's because of, the scar tissue from playing the Panthers the last couple of years?
Yeah, Jimmy, I think you got to remember, too, those years we won, we did the same thing Florida did. We bullied teams. We bullied them out of the rink. We did that. And I think when you try to get back to that team, and they added some great pieces with Gergensen and Holmberg's obviously a big part of that, finding that third line with Coleman, Gaudreau, and Gord, I think that's the missing ingredient is just trying to find guys. And I love what Coop did. If you can play a guy like Sabrin to make their team feel a little bit bigger, and I think Montreal's done a really good job. And I'm basing this back off of the last game of not the last game of the season, the last meeting they met in Montreal. Anderson took some runs at Cooch. Then Carlisle stepped in. So he kind of set that tone the last game of the year. So they kind of knew what they were doing. They're basically saying, Montreal was saying, hey, you're not going to, like you said, you're not going to bully us around. We got a guy, Jack guy. We got Anderson. We got some good guys that will step up to the fight too. So I think they kind of set that tone in Montreal in the Bell Center, the last meeting they had. And I think Tampa maybe could have probably got the edge on that. But I think this has been a kind of a fair fight, in my opinion, on both sides. Like I think it comes down to special teams and the bullying. Like Tampa has the weapons with Hagee kind of drags guys in the fight. Pairs is obviously Corey Perry. You got Sabs. You got Lilleberg on the back end. You got some big guys like, Radish isn't afraid. You got some Gordo. You got some guys, but, is it bullying? But I think they're kind of matching that, what they're trying to bring too. So I think it's on both ends. At the end of the day, when I'm looking at that, you got to be a little bit smarter, though, than the other team, in my opinion, because this is going to go to distance. So you don't want to keep putting Montreal on the power play and keep trying to do, taking, uncharacteristic penalties and then find your way. It's going to be a special teams series, and that's how I look at it right now. It's who's going to win the special teams, because 5-on-5, both teams really haven't found their groove, in my opinion. You guys correct me if I'm wrong.
With Patrick Maroon, what's your projection on Florida next year? Presuming they're healthy, maybe Bob returns. Do you think they just reinsert themselves back into the Eastern Conference?
Absolutely. I mean, if they have Kachuk and Barkov this year, I think it's a completely different animal, right? They're missing two big pieces, and Seth Jones went down early. You're missing some key players, guys that kind of leaders in the locker room, captains, assistant captains, guys that kind of drag people into the fight. So I don't see Florida missing the playoffs next year by any means. They're a very good team. And, if Bob does come back, I'm assuming if he doesn't, I'm assuming every free agent goalie is probably going to be like, I want to go to Florida. So if there's any out there right now. So I don't think their window's closing anytime soon. I think it's just going to be like the Lightning. It's always going to be open. Bill Zito and Julian Breezewell are always going to find a way to keep that window open to give their team the best chance to win a Stanley Cup.
Great catching up with you, Pat. We appreciate you doing this. And, next time we get you on more deep, maybe we get Clint. Was it Clint? That's your guy?
Yeah.
We got to get him
Just
maybe
hang
on
up the phone with this loser.
Get Clint on there.
Hey,
More
no. See, he gets so mad. He gets so mad for strokes. I didn't even get any good stroke holes. I was doubling my stroke holes. So
We're having a bad connection. We're having a bad connection.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
God.
it. I love it. Thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. We'll do it again
guys.
soon. You got it. There's Cup winner Patrick Maroon. And Ham and Egger, him and his boy Clint. I love that.
Love it.
Dude, you got to see, if you want to see a golf course, if you want to see cool pictures online, this guy's a member at a course called Pelican in Tampa. It is one of the best courses, and I've played a lot of golf around North America. There's only 2 courses in the world that have Augusta sand in their sand trap. Obviously, one is Augusta. 2 is his course in Tampa. This place is so sick.
Yeah.
No
is
carts.
That Annika Sorenstam, is she at that track?
She's not there, but she has her tournament.
There, okay.
Yeah, there's like water on 18.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just so gorgeous. Every piece of grass, like, there's nothing out of place. It's perfect.
No carts, though? No carts?
No, caddies.
Oh, you had to
Gotta
walk
walk
it. Oh,
yeah.
Well, you're screwed, man. You should be getting strokes. That's not your game. Like you put you in a cart. It's a totally different story.
Well, me in a cart, I'm a +3 handicap. Me walking is like 2 or 3 over.
Right. Yeah, there's some discrepancy there.
Yeah.
All right, Frankie Curado in 20. Jerry's coming up. Overdrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Frankie Curado in about 15 minutes. Pens need one tonight. Sid's got to take a page out of LeBron's book because LeBron went off for 28, 8, and 7 last night, 39 minutes.
Wow.
Guy's 41 years old. They're up 2-0 in the series. And watching Sid through 2 games, he's getting frustrated. Philly's been on him. And it's a different sport, clearly, in terms of one guy having an impact. But
Phillies, like, their one main motive is to say, these are the old dogs, man. Like, we got to try to outskate them, out-hit them, out-intense them, and make them have nothing in the tank.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job of it through 2 games. I love watching that matchup. I don't know. You brought it up when the playoff matchups were set, Brian. Philly Pitt is something about it, man. I don't know.
Well, I agree. Like, Sid in Philly tonight in the playoffs is a throw. I never thought we'd see that again.
Yeah.
Did not see that as a possibility.
Yeah. You remember back in the day we had Lavi on the other day where Lavi was like, he was calling Claude Giroux the best player in the world way back in the day. Just to kind of take a shot at Sid.
Yeah.
It was like, because Claude Giroux at that time was elite. Like, not that he isn't now, but he was one of the top players in the game. And Lavi was calling him the best player in the game. It was awesome.
Yeah, Sid said it, man. I hate everything about Philly. Like, I just don't like them.
Pitt's got to play better, though. They've looked neutralized. They've looked a little bit slower. I mean, Philly has done a number on them. Like, and their top players, I expect Pittsburgh's top players to break through.
I thought a little bit more was coming, as Brian mentioned, with all the receipts that were taken.
Still only 2 games, right? It's first to 4. It's not over yet. Philly's got to hold on here. But it is a big moment for Sid. It's a big moment for the Pens tonight. You go down 3-0, curtains. You know you're in big trouble. Yeah. So more on that with Frankie into the next hour. Jerry coming up. You see Mike Tomlin is signed with NBC. It sounds like he's going to be part of Football Night in America, which everyone was waiting for that. Everyone knew Mike Tomlin was going to get into media. But
I don't like to comment on other TV things, but that Football Night in America kind of needed a reboot.
Tony Dungy, it was kind of the end of the road with that whole shtick.
I'm not going to go in depth on my.
I agree.
It needed
glass
like
houses. Glass houses.
Yeah, like a reboot. Man.
I got you. And they're going to give Tomlin a shot. Mike Vrabel's still playing. He's not going to the media.
What do you make? Yeah,
we'll get into it in the next hour because the draft is tomorrow night.
Vrabel, he was excited about the draft.
Confirmed or not? I don't know.
He gave an opening statement that could not have deflected more without.
It was confirm or deny. That's really what it was.
He was like, we're looking forward to the draft. This guy just got caught with pictures on top of a hotel, and he's like, we're looking forward to the draft. It's
big
for the
weekend
players.
for the organization.
Yeah.
Really big weekend for the Pats.
Had some tough conversations with my family and the team, and you're like, all right.
It's like, so are we confirming or denying?
Yeah, I couldn't get a read on it.
I think I got a read, Noodles. I think I've got a read
fair enough.
on what's going on there. But anyway, Jerry's coming up, Frankie coming up, best bets as well. Overdrive continues up on TSN 4.
This is Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan. Up on TSN 4, up on YouTube Live, on TSN's YouTube channel. Frankie Curado in a few moments. Jerry's percentages later in the hour. Best bets coming up as well. We're tracking the Jays, and last night Jeff Hoffman got himself in trouble again. Louis Varland came in to save the day. One pitch to get them out of the jam.
Just make Louis Varland the closer, man, with his gray work boots and his bull-legged style. Get him.
Yeah, he rocks the wrestling boots. They're literally wrestling boots, I think.
Remember we talked about his boots last year?
Yeah.
He wears just mud wrestling wheels on the mound. He's a unique character.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's the end of the line for the other guy. Stop it. Cut the crap with saying I trust him and he's our guy. I like how he said it one day and the next day he's like, we got to sit down and talk to this guy about a different role.
Doesn't he have an off day today?
Today he's not
and then they're going to chat with him tomorrow about his role. Did I read that? Yeah.
Yes, correct. Not pitching today. Listen, the night before he struck out the side. He came in and closed the deal down, but Schneider put himself in a tough spot a couple of days ago when he was so emphatically in his corner. And he's like, I know you're not going to want to hear this, but I trust Jeff Hoffman. And 2 nights later, he's like, we're going to have a little chat. He and I are going to have a little
When you have to say the term, and Schneid should know this, just the psychology of comments and affecting players, or whether they be truthful or not, when you have to preface a comment by saying, a bunch of people are going to hate me for saying this, that means it's –
yeah.
That's all you need to know. A bunch of people are going to hate me. It's because a bunch of people know that he's not doing his job.
Well, listen, it's an evergreen topic in sports, regardless of what the sport is. How much does a coach, a manager trust a player when they've done something for them in the past, generally speaking? Now, Hoffman, I know a lot of Jays fans will say, what has he done? Because he had some really big struggles during the season last year, and then we know what happened in the ninth inning of Game 7, clearly. But in September, he was really good. Throughout the playoffs, he was great. He goes in and throws strikes, and they're paying him a lot of money. The management paid him a lot of money. They brought in Hoffman to go out there and close or be a big part of high-leverage situations in the bullpen. So, it's happened before. Like, we had Laviolette on the other day, and Lavi said when we were out talking about using numbers and analytics, he's like, sometimes my eyes are lying to me when it comes to my best player. A guy that I love and trust. Maybe I got to look at it differently and say, you know what? I'm putting too much faith in this guy. That can go the other way, too. I don't like a guy, but actually maybe I should. And with Hoffman, it's clear cut. Like, he just loses his stuff. He can't find the zone. He was hitting guys last night. It was a mess. It was a disaster. And Varland has been perfect. Like, Varland with his Roddy Piper shoes out there just throwing heat. He hits 98, 99 in his sleep.
That's what he should do. He should just go out in a kilt and, like, his Jays shirt.
Roddy Piper.
I love that idea.
Just a kilt and
time.
a Blue Jays white T-shirt, with the arms ripped off, and start throwing heat.
The Hot Rod Louis Varland.
Yeah, with his gray Dr. Martens on.
They are the weirdest shoe. Like, has anybody done a feature on them? Like, have they talked about?
Yeah, he was a wrestler. Like, I'm actually not joking. My understanding is he was a wrestler in high school or whatever.
So he felt that he needs to wear them on the mount. Like,
I guess
don't
that's
understand.
his thing, man. He's got a thing for the hot rod, the Hot Rod's boots.
Roddy Piper, that guy was.
He was one of my all-time favorites.
But he became a comedian.
All time.
I don't know if you guys knew that. He became a comedian at the end of his wrestling career.
He's from Winnipeg, I think.
I had dinner with
Canadian
him one
guy.
night. Yes, he was a comedian. Nice guy, funny guy, but I didn't view him as a comedian. I just looked at this guy as
that was a part of his
lunatic,
Wikipedia page.
Yeah, he was, honest to God, nice guy, but a really. I've never expected him to have a stand-up routine, considering but a lot of those guys put the act on, right?
Well, you got to be a showman. The Hot Rod was a showman.
Yeah.
I guess he was from Saskatoon, actually, which I
Good.
believe is the hometown of Brandon Hagel, I believe.
Oh.
So there you go. Hagel is kind of like the Hot Rod.
We never did get to the bottom of the toughest provinces. I still think it's Saskatchewan.
People bring that up to me still, Noodles. I'm like, you got to follow through on that. I know you guys have false promises all the time.
Yes, yeah.
But I'm still, Ontario, I think I know Saskatchewan is going to put their hand up and say, we have Gordie Howe and we've got Kelly Chase and Wendell Clark, and I get it. I'm not here to argue.
Kosher and Bugard and there's
they got a lot of them. But Ontario, man, Ontario's got Probert and Domi and McSorley, Rob Ray. Dude, I'd put Ontario up against anybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really
one of our bosses, I hope one of our bosses is listening to that, because he'll go on a rant about Sasky for years.
Yeah.
Between
years.
Listen, Ken Volden and Darren Dreger would stand up and say, disagree. Saskatchewan. Listen, I'm an Alberta boy, and I think Saskatchewan wins.
Alberta would be in the running, though, Noodles.
There's some tough guys from there. Jason Strudwick. Good Alberta boy.
Craig Berube would be in the running.
Oh, yeah. The Chief from Enoch. Oh, yeah. There were some tough customers, and put it this way, tough customers in every province.
Yes.
And I would be terrified to run into 100%. Those guys when they got a growl.
Well, I don't know why I got into a rabbit hole last night. Maybe I was...
fights or something?
Looking up something on. Yeah, I think it was a Ty Domi thing came up, and all his fights with Sandy McCarthy. And Sandy's a Toronto guy. He was born in Toronto, grew up in Barrie. So there's another Ontario guy. Sandy McCarthy fought everybody.
He was a scary human, but Tony Twist.
He was my roommate a couple times.
Tony Twist, I still think he might be. I don't know. He might be the all-time toughest.
Sandy McCarthy.
No, Tony Twist.
Oh, Tony Twist, yes.
Tony Twist was a killer.
Sure.
A killer
I told you guys a couple weeks ago, right before bed, the Sandman was like, you ever think about being in outer space, O-Dog?
Right.
And I'm like, no, Sandman, I don't. Never. And I was like, no way,
Please stop talking. Yeah. But he was
great
a tough
guy,
customer.
Though.
Yeah,
great guy.
They were. Yeah,
well, because, Domi... There's a lot of former Leafs. Their names are coming up right now, right? Matt Sundin and his role and what could happen with the Leafs in the future, and Gary Roberts. And I'm curious how you guys feel about the value that comes with that. And we don't know what the roles are. They're not going to be the GM or the coach or the president of hockey operations, but bringing in former players, What kind of value do you have in that? I guess
I don't think it hurts, but I've said this before. I'd rather bring in an outsider that doesn't have allegiance to the market, that doesn't have allegiance to players on that roster right now, just goes, I need a fresh set of eyes, and I'm going to try and turn this thing around. And I don't care, what minor hockey system you played for, what pajamas you wore where you were growing up, and all of that stuff. I just care about trying to turn this organization around. That's what they need.
Let's bring in an alumni. Maybe he can speak to it. Eddie is a Toronto guy joining us on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Here's Frankie Curado. Frankie, are you a proponent of bringing in past legends and alumni of the team? And if so, what kind of value would they even bring to the table?
I don't think it has to be a prerequisite for the job. It's the best person available, but I almost look at it this way. Like if you were bringing someone in and that person could look at the Leafs and say, I don't have to do this. I don't need to be here, but I want to do this because I have a passion for what this is going to take. Like that's the kind of guy that can sit in front of Keith Pelly or sit in front of the board and say, you guys want A, B, and C, but I'm telling you it's X, Y, and Z. And if we can't get on the same page, I'm fine. I'll go do whatever else that I'm doing because I'm very successful at it. That's whether that means you're an alumni or not. To me, that's the best person for this kind of job, not someone who can be influenced by, I need this job because this is where everything's riding for me.
Yeah, Frankie, if this is all about like who's ever running this, if there's a president or not a president, and it's such an important decision, it's very key for the Maple Leafs moving forward, regardless of what the decision happens, with the roster or anything of those details moving forward. So it's so important, and it's got to be the best guy. In your opinion, how does Mike Gillis all of a sudden pop up to be one of these people that continues to be talked about? Like if it's the best guy available.
I get it. It's interesting. It's interesting on Gillis because he's been out of the game so long, but he's been in these situations where things have popped up, like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh came up years ago when Hextall and Burke got that job, and it was this weird thing where Gillis's pitch deck to the ownership group, it leaked online, and you could go through all the different pages of what his philosophy is on team building and technology and scouting. And so I don't think he's just been kind of waiting around doing nothing fishing. I think he's been very successful as an agent, as a president and general manager in Vancouver. And with what he had to deal with that Vancouver sphere, ownership, fan base, all that kind of stuff, Bryce says, I'm going to pick my spot. Like I'll wait for my shot. And if it's not exactly what I want, I'm not going to do it. And at the end of the day, like you guys, like if you were in ownership's position and you had three options in front of you, one guy's giving you the path of least resistance, one guy's giving you the path of most resistance. Well, he's probably been in those meetings giving whatever ownership group the path of most resistance. And so now you go, whatever it is, 14 years without a job, and he probably sees this Toronto thing and says, this is something that could be a good fit for me. I don't know. But he drafted me in Vancouver, okay? And they were very ahead of the times. They were doing sleep watches and, all these different kind of things to train your brain at the time, art machines. They were pretty cutting edge. And as time went on, that stuff got scaled back when different people were in charge there. So I think that would probably make it enticing for Toronto to look at that and say, well, why are you out of the game? Can you tell us more about your philosophies? And maybe that leads you down a path.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the idea that would be a question, why are you out of the game? I can't imagine is a great icebreaker if you're you're a prospective member of the organization moving forward. But the other AGMs around the league that reportedly are in the running here, we're talking guys like John Chayka, the AGM down in Dallas, Scott White is his name, Ryan Martin in New York, and Evan Gold in Boston. Like these are none of them are household names.
How are they the best people to fill this role?
Hold on a second.
Tell me that.
Well, I'll give you an example. If White is learning from Jim Nill, I want to hear what he has to say because Jim Nill's an elite GM. That's the thing. Like you look at the pathway of how they've arrived. Like if you're getting on the job training from somebody who was really good, I definitely would want to look at that guy. That's the, if you're hearing names that from organizations that are a mess, you're like, why would I be taking that guy? That guy's voice has been all over.
Well, there's two
Rangers.
names there, Noodles, right? Like,
and Chaika was a disaster in Arizona.
It was
well,
a
and
disaster.
he cost them a first rounder. I know.
Players. Yeah, it was. The computer says we got to do this, so we got to do it.
Okay.
So there's no feel involved. And if you're going to pluck someone from New York, that's been a mess as well. And I think, Noodles, you're onto something there, because when Stevie Y left Tampa Bay, who was the next man in charge? It was Julian Breezewell, was it not? Right? Like Jim Nill spent a lot of time in Detroit, and he helped build those teams. And now he's doing a great job in Dallas. So you are onto something there. And that's why when the name, Sonny Maeda came up, it was like, oh, wait a second. Is this guy some part of the brains behind the operation that has been the gold standard for the last, 3 years in the league? Well, so I think you are onto something there, Noodles.
I read Sonny Maeda's comments in his interview today, and he talked about data, but he said, like, I grew up in New Jersey. He goes, I wasn't a data guy. He goes, I went back and got my master's in data because I needed to fill the gaps. Like, he actually, it was he's very well spoken. So it was a really good read to hear what he had to say. But he's like, I'm trying to fill in every gap possible to make this organization the best it can be. He goes, I'm going to use data, but he goes, all of a sudden I'm painted as a data guy. He goes, I know it, but he goes, I'm going to use the I approach. I'm going to use all these things. I'm not saying any of the guys that have been put to the forefront coming from the Rangers. John Chaika, yes, first time around, made some mistakes. You can get better. You can learn after, look at Travis Green in Vancouver compared to Ottawa. He's grown. Like, you are allowed to grow as a manager at all of these things. You can learn. But my point being is you should be plucking at new faces and looking and saying, okay, this guy's been working under Jim Nill. What a great opportunity to give him. Now, it's one of the biggest platforms, if not the biggest platform. So it's, to get trial by fire in Toronto. But if the guy can handle it, so be it. And that's why you go through the process of interviewing these guys.
I think with something like this, I think a lot of the fan base looks to the brand name guy and says that gives me the most comfort, because maybe there's something there. Like if I'll just use an example of Armstrong, won a Stanley Cup. So you're like, okay, I can envision it. But Lou Lamoriello had won Stanley Cups. Brian Burke has won Stanley Cup. Like, did Nonis win a Stanley Cup? I can't remember. But Toronto has had the, brand name guy at the time. So I think if you're looking at this, you have to cast the net far and wide, clearly. And you have to get a lot of different opinions. And I think it comes down to, what is your plan to execute this thing? Because it's not an easy thing to execute. Like, I think I heard, O-Dog, you said it a little while back. Like, there's not many people that tell you it's one or two pieces away. So it's a heavy lift. And, what's your plan to make sure that it's on the right track as soon as possible?
Yeah, and we'll find out, how this GM handles the heat of Toronto and whether or not because if it's someone that's unknown and doesn't have a ton of opportunity elsewhere, what's going to happen here. They're going to be labeled a yes man for Pelly, right? That Pelly's going to tell them, got to get back in the playoffs immediately. Okay, I'll go and do that. Let me try to trade picks and prospects and try to get back in, and got to make Matthews happy. Okay, I'll see what I can do to make Matthews happy. They have
see how that went in Vancouver, Brian.
Exactly.
Right? Like, everything was about making Quinn Hughes happy. We signed Garland. We re-signed Besser. We re-signed Demko. We hired Adam Foote as the head coach. And guess what happened? Still walked right out the door. Got a good return for him. But now you're picking up the
add
pieces.
Up the million. Like, just a quick addition on that, Frankie. Add up the $1 million that it cost just to attempt to keep Quinn Hughes happy. The Besser contract, the Demko contract, the Garland contract, and like what is that? Is that $100 million kind of appetizer to show Quinn Hughes, and he still said stuff it? That's crazy stuff.
So you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want to keep guys around. At the end of the day, players know, and they know if the team has a chance of winning. But more importantly than that, maybe not more importantly, but with that, they know if the people in charge know what they're doing. You guys have sat there on the back of the bus, you've sat there on the plane, and you have these conversations at dinner, and you hear the rumblings, and it's like, guys aren't dumb, man. They can figure it out if they know that it's going nowhere fast. It doesn't take long to figure it out.
You're 100% right, because I was a player one time, and a general manager wanted to have a conversation with me, like a heart-to-heart. He took me into the bathroom. We were in a stall. There was a guy taking a crap next to us, and we're talking, and like the guy's flushing, and I'm like, where are we? Can we not go somewhere else? And like, he's Jamie, you got to do this, you got to do that. I'm like, I remember thinking, this guy has no idea what's going on here, and he's having a heart-to-heart with me, and our tough guy's taking a moose 8 inches away from us. Like, it was ridiculous.
Jamie. Yeah. One time, like Lou Lamoriello knew what he was doing. I'm not going to say he didn't know what he was doing, but the places where you have some of these conversations is absurd. I remember one time I hadn't played for probably 10 or 12 in a row, and we had this little cave at the Air Canada Centre where we would do not team video, but just little specialized video, PK, penalty kill, power play, that kind of stuff. The lights were off in there, and he kind of brings me in. But he sat a row behind me, like there's seats. He sat a row behind me, and he told me to sit in the row in front of him. And the lights were dimmed, and I'm like, is this a movie or something? Like, am I getting whacked or something? Like, why? Like, no one knows we're in this cave. He's sitting a row behind me, and he's telling me why I'm not playing. I'm like, I'm expecting someone to just, like, someone to whack me at this point.
Yeah, Joe Pesci and
it's hyperbole, but you get the idea.
Right when you open the door, you're like, hey, I'm going in to be told I'm playing tonight. Actually, no, you're not.
So funny.
With Frankie Curado. What do you expect out of McDavid tonight after a quiet game one? They still won the game, but I got that guy. I got him circled tonight. I think Joel Quenneville spent the last 48 hours expecting him to come out of the chute flying this evening. Easily, because think about McDavid. You could give him nothing in a game. He's taken everything. How many times have we seen it? Anaheim gives up a lot, so it's there for the taking for him. And if you're Anaheim, you look at that game one and you say, we checked off a major box. We kept McDavid off the score sheet, and we still lost that game. So I think if you're looking at that, you're like, oh man, that's going to be tough for us to overcome, because this is the difference for the Oilers is always a couple things. Yes, it's goaltending, but when the other guys contribute offensively, man, they're in a good spot. And when Kasperi Kapanen's scoring goals and Jason Dickinson's scoring goals, and you alleviate some of the heroism that Connor McDavid has to put forth on a nightly basis, that's dangerous stuff. So yeah, I fully expect Anaheim to give up just as much as they normally do give up, and McDavid to have a big night. And Leon Draisaitl looked as rejuvenated as anyone can look coming back from that long of a hiatus. That was really, really impressive.
Frankie, can you take us into the Bell Center in Montreal for what that's going to be like tomorrow night when they get cooking? Because it's the best place in the world to play hockey on a regular Tuesday night against the Habs. But just take us inside what that barn is going to be like. Like, it'll be so fun in there. I can't wait for those fans.
The best way I can describe what the Bell Center would be like in that situation, I think every night is a celebration of hockey in that arena. It's the NHL and the best players in the world at its purest form, with the fan engagement and the atmosphere. It's going to be a celebration of hockey on steroids. And especially given the animosity now that we've seen between both of these teams coming out of game two, let's call it for what it is. Tampa is playing the villain role to a T. Corey Perry's jawing at guys. Hagel's doing the crying thing. Hagel's doing the too small after the Slavkovsky fight. Like, everything that the villain in a movie would do, Tampa Bay is doing. Yeah. So now you add that to one of the most rabid fan bases that, like you mentioned, Tuesday against Columbus in December is loud in that building. It's going to be something. And, the Habs outside of that third period in game two and overtime, where they didn't get a shot on net and they had basically nothing, no possession, they have been right there with Tampa Bay. Like, they, as far as toughness goes, puck possession, special teams, goaltending, they're right there. It's a very close series. I think they should have a lot of confidence going back on home ice with the split and having the mecca of hockey spectatorship in front of them. I don't know if that's a word, but that's like it's going to be pretty grand going back in there.
Well, what'll be interesting is, how you compare and contrast what the Bell Center is going to sound like and what it's going to sound like in Ottawa when they get back, because they're down 2-0. Like the Habs, it's 1-1, and I think you feel great. You went down to Tampa, you got a split, you lost another game in overtime, you had fights, and it was crazy. In Ottawa, I'm curious what the mood is going to be like, because they're in one now. Tkachuk and Stützle still don't have a point in a series. Like, I don't think they don't have to individually win them game 3. Like it may be a 1-0 game in game 3. It may be 2-1 and Batherson scores twice and Ullmark plays great. But What have you seen out of Stützle and Tkachuk that would lead you to believe maybe it will change for them individually as of game 3?
It's the most painfully, glaringly obvious thing. They just have not found a way to score on grade A chances. And the crazy thing is, it's been a really hard-fought battle for the Ottawa Senators. Like, keep in mind, like they're missing 3 of their regular defensemen, and their goaltenders played unbelievable. And they have kept Seth Jarvis fairly quiet. Like, I don't think Sebastian Aho has really taken over shifts. It's kind of just been like Stankoven, Martinook, Stahl. Like, those are the guys that are jumping off the page right now for Carolina. So there is a lot of good things that the Senators have done, but it doesn't matter that you've done good things. It matters that you're winning games and you're scoring. And I think the glass half full thing on that as well is, even with all that you're up against, you're getting the chances. Like, they're there for you. You just have to find a way to hit the empty net or hit the net when you're in the slot area. So I think if you're Ottawa, you look at all that and you say, man, we can actually do this thing. Like, at some point, Freddie's going to have, or there's a good chance Freddie's going to have another moment like on the Dylan Cousins goal. So let's keep pushing it towards the front of the net. It's rotten luck as far as I'm concerned with the Sens. Tim Stützle will never have another game where he has that many open nets and grade A chances and just doesn't score. It just won't happen again.
I think they have to throw something at the Carolina Hurricanes, whether it be Travis Green making an adjustment on certain line matchups or a different line combination. Those guys got to figure out how to score a goal. But I brought this up a couple months ago, and somebody on this panel did not necessarily agree with me. I thought they could have used an upgrade with some scoring punch, and you're seeing it. Like if they could just get a guy, and it's tough to get a high-end guy that can rip home goals.
Well, I mean, you just mentioned Stützle hit the post and Tkachuk's hit the post. They just got to bury their chances, don't you think?
Okay, well, what are the other guys doing though? Like, someone's got to step up and score. Like, it would have been nice if they just could have had an up.
Like
Shane Pinto, his line didn't have a great game 1, right?
Pinto's
I get you're defensively
Sanderson,
responsible guy,
offensively,
right?
Too. Yeah, go ahead.
Sanderson, Shabbat can't shoot the puck right now. Like he is passing every single time because his wrist or his arm, and he can't shoot it. I think it's valid, and the move that they made was to bring in Warren Foegele, who, after the trade deadline, he was phenomenal for them. Warren Foegele was really good. He's a good fit on that team. The guy that went out the door was David Perron, who, at times there had been different pieces of adversity for David Perron in Ottawa, but he was a good soldier for them. He moved on to Detroit. I think it's, hindsight's always 20/20 in those situations where you're like, hey, if that's David Perron in front of the net, is that in the back of the net? But the crazy thing, Jeff, is, like, if you could pick one player to have those chances, it's number 7, it's number 18. Like, it's not like Zetterlund missed these chances. It's the best guys. It's crazy. It's perplexing that it's happened to them for 2 games now.
Well, and the difference too is the Aaron Karolnik stunt double has been scoring on the other side. AK,
yes.
Like that. Is that Stankoven? No, Stankoven looks exactly like Aaron Karolnik.
Yeah,
does he not look like Aaron Karolnik, AK?
Yeah, if
literally
Karolnik had any athletic ability, he would be Logan Stankoven, 10 years older,
I'm telling
15 years older.
Pull up Stankoven's face. It's AK's face, just a younger version of it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I can't even look at the guy now without seeing AK.
He's a player,
skating
though.
around out there.
That kid has shown up early in the series.
My point, Jeff, is Stankoven scored, Stützle hasn't. That's the difference. Like, is they're top players now. Mm-hmm. That's a difference.
And Jamie, that might just be the difference right now. If they can't be separators at home, maybe they can even the series up, because we know what happens if they're not. It's lights out.
Tomorrow's
got to win game 3.
Tomorrow's a win. Like, you have to win tomorrow. You have to win.
Mandatory.
It's a must-win. You can't go down.
And at some point,
keep in
those
mind,
guys are going to have to contribute offensively to win the series. And that goes without
saying
as well.
And keep in mind, like, for Carolina, this is a place of comfort for them. Like, how have they lost series in the past? They've had to come back in series, and they don't have the extra gear offensively because they're not full of star power. So that's been an issue for them. They've had bad goaltending at times. Well, it's not bad goaltending when everyone's missing their chances for Ottawa. But this is Carolina when they're comfortable up in a series and forcing you now to have to take chances, and they can jump on it and make you pay for your mistakes. Like, it's that much more difficult because of what you have on the blue line or what you don't have on the blue line, but also where Carolina is in their position of comfort and how they've kind of seen this episode before and they've executed on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mandatory for Ottawa Game 3. A bunch of games in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Enjoy those, Frankie. We'll do it again soon. Thank you for this.
All right, boys. See ya.
Frankie Curado joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Red Tag Days are here. Check out the Toyota Tacoma and Toyota Tundra pickup trucks, both available as hybrids. Visit Maple Toyota right near Canada's Wonderland in the Maple Auto Mall. All right, 3 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. We got the Jays chasing it in L.A., looking to sweep the Angels. Doesn't look great right now, but we'll continue to update that. Best bets later in the hour. And Jerry's percentages coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
You're going to want to hear this.
Jerry's percentages.
I don't love being commissioner as much as I used to. I actually love it even more.
That's the voice of a Hall of Famer.
Are you kidding? Have you been out drinking?
You're all pigeons. Filthy, filthy pigeons.
It's Jerry. Gerry.
All right, Jerry's percentages. And, Jerry's a New York guy. I wonder what he thinks about his New York Mets. I think he might be a Mets fan. They have lost 12 in a row.
They're in one.
And I was just watching a video in the break where Juan Soto is returning from injury tonight.
I was saying he didn't talk.
I haven't talked to my
teammates.
Yeah, they've been on the road. I don't know. Yeah. I guess they've been losing a lot. I'll check in with them when I get to the park.
Tight team, eh?
Yeah, that's what you want. You're paying the guy $760 million.
Yeah, but dude, like, that's what I don't understand. And it's back to the Dave Naylor comment about an owner with 6 beers in the video room and getting involved. Like, sorry, but it's, they did advance in the playoffs, and they played the Dodgers. They didn't do it, but after that, it's been a mess. When you're talking to this guy, Soto, and he's making this demands for, like, private jets and private rooms, don't you say, like, no way, like, that's enough? Enough is enough?
Not if you want the guy, evidently.
Okay, but be careful what you ask for, Hayes, because if a guy's saying he wants his own hotel, different hotel, private, like, it's just enough, man. Like, is the $700 million not enough? You want all this plus.
Not when you got an agent who's like, watch, I'll get you more. I mean, I hear you. I don't blame the player. I mean, the owner gave it to them. Like, Boris is sitting there just saying, all right, we'll take this.
Yes. You're just selling your soul. Like, it's just, you got to make a stand as an organization to say, this is the money we're allocating for this player. We're not doing all this other garbage. And if you lose him, you lose him. Look what it's gotten you thus far.
Yeah.
Jack squat.
Well, it's like Kawhi in L.A.
Yes,
right?
same
they
thing.
Sold it. They're like, we'll pay you cash on the side.
Yeah, we'll
tree
plant
planting.
some trees. Yeah.
We'll get your boy Paul George in here and make the worst trade in professional sports history. And now Kawhi's probably just going to leave. Like 5 years of nothing. And Kawhi's probably going to be like, I'm out of here.
And Uncle Dennis has made a bunch of money down at tree planting or whatever.
and Soto, I mean, listen, he's a great player. And he had a really good year last year. And I have no doubt for the next 10 years he'll be a great player. But the Mets are in one, man. They've lost 12 in a row. Bo Bichette is just – you want tough reads, go online and just punch in Bo Bichette Mets fan reaction. It is overwhelmingly negative.
Dude, I told you that, and you're like,
know.
nah, it's early, man. It's early.
$42 million, just bring in Bo. He's playing third. He can't hit. It's a mess. All right, anyway, we're off track, and now Jerry's, I'm sure, getting disappointed. Let's get to some hot takes here. Go ahead.
As much as Jerry wants the Ottawa Senators to check out, it's not going to happen. Because this series is still going to go to 7 games.
Okay.
7 games.
7 for Ottawa, Carolina.
I am going to say there's a 60% chance of that happening. Nah.
40.
40%.
So.
I'm going to say 40% because I think that reflects a reasonable amount of similarities to my beliefs. It's like I feel like it, one bad period in this series is over for the Sens. Mm-hmm. But I thought they played so hard and they played so well in some of the games for durations where I'm like, they're right there. So
yeah,
they need a game for right there to say we're back in the series. But I'm going to say 40%.
Yeah, I'm going to say, and just because of my biased allegiance, I'm going to say 52%. A little higher, but they've got tomorrow is a must win. I'm sorry, like that. Regardless of, you can't have moral victories, and I think there are long stretches, and probably a lot like the Boston series, where the Boston Buffalo series. I think Ottawa's been the better team for longer stretches in that, but it doesn't matter. They're 0-2, so moral victories, all of that type of stuff. You need a game where you just come out with the win. And that has to be tomorrow night, and I'll change my view on it. Mm-hmm. But I'm at 51, and it's a stretch.
I'm pretty high on this too, man. I think if they win, I think I could see them going back to Carolina 2-2. Like I really could.
They got to prove it, though. They got to do it.
I understand that, and that's obviously a projection of what could happen. Needless to say, they could get swept. I mean, obviously they haven't played the games, and Carolina's a good team, and I expect Carolina to show up and play well. But Ottawa's played so well, down the stretch into the series, and double OT. They had that game. They dominated at times in overtime the other night. Again, it doesn't mean anything, but 0-2 is not a killer. You come back and win these 2 games, it's going 7, and I think they got a real chance at doing that. So I might shock the world and go 53%. Higher than both of you guys. I'm going
well, that's
above
not
it.
shocking the world.
Flip.
Shocking the world is 75%.
I don't see that. But if they win the series, it's in 7, I think. Like, they're not going to run off 4 straight wins. Although watch, they will, and the receipts will come up on Sen's Twitter that Hayes doubted they could win 4 in a row. But I still think they're in this series. LA, I don't. LA, I think they're in big trouble. I don't think Ottawa's in the same spot. Jerry, what else do you have?
Jerry's getting nostalgic with the Leafs acting like a dumpster fire again. And I've got the inside scoop. They're only going to hire a GM, not a president of hockey operations, too.
Only a GM. Keith Pelly right into the GM. That's Jerry's scoop.
No. I'm low on that. You want to go first or you want me to?
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm 28%. They just had that formula. It didn't work. You need it unless that GM is also the president of hockey operations. It's a dual role because Keith Pelly has 6 jobs, really, legitimately has 6 jobs. He wants to leave the Toronto Maple Leafs alone and he be the buffer between, the Maple Leafs and the board. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to be in a room with his analytics guy going, hey, this is what we should get for Bobby McMahon. He does not want to do that. He needs 2 people to do that, a president and a general manager or somebody who can do that dual role. So that's I'm low on this. Okay. I think I'm 18%. We've seen that. It didn't work out.
I hope you're right. I don't know if you're right, but
So the percentage, what we're going against is there's just going to be a general manager.
Only a GM being hired. Yep. And then he'll get an AGM and his staff and all that, but not the president of not a Brendan Shanahan replacement.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, I think they are going to do it, so I'm high on this. I'm high on this. I mean,
what am I? Be a GM?
No, I think it'll be. I think
both, and you're low
So
on this.
let me ask you that.
I'm 5%. 5%.
Yeah, so you're like me. You think there's going to be a GM and a president.
I do,
correct?
yeah.
Especially if they're going to hire somebody who's never been a manager before in the league. Mm-hmm. If they hire, is it White out of Dallas? Is that his name? Scott White?
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
I'm butchering
Scott
his name.
White,
So,
Scott White.
If they hire Scott White out of Dallas, it's literally Keith Pelly and Scott White are the ones that are going to turn it around.
Turn the Leafs around.
I think if you're going to be progressive and you're going to hire outside the scope of the old retreads, I think you're going to need multiple people.
Okay. Scott White's not a young guy. He's 58 years old.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not just saying. It's not like it's some, Dubas was like 24 years old or whatever.
Yeah, never been in the manager's chair, and especially in the biggest market in hockey.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're going to need help.
I hope you're right. I want you to be right. Pelly made a big deal of, like, he wiped out Shanahan for a reason and Messiah, and I'm sure he sold ownership. Hey, that's a waste of money. We don't need it. Yeah. Now you're going to go back and say, sorry, my bad. Wasn't a waste of money?
We need a different to me.
Him admitting he's wrong, though, which maybe he's already done. But.
Yeah, he might just say we need to restructure it, and I'm restructuring it this way. So it might be a different title than president.
I'm 50%.
Maybe it's.
I think it's a coin flip. I'm bracing for impact. I'm bracing for impact.
This is so crazy. The stuff that's going on here. Like I go back to the Carolina Hurricanes where it was like, coach, 2 assistant coaches, and way you go play. Yeah. Simple kind of operation. This is day by day.
Though, buddy.
And that owner's cheap, right? Dundon, he's getting hammered in the NBA right now for cutting. Like, he owns Portland.
Yeah, apparently the coach. He's like the coach is in the middle of the playoffs, and this guy, he knows that Dundon's going to chop his salary. That's his philosophy. Mm-hmm. He understands there's some talent that goes on the court or the ice or the field. Gotta have to pay him. As far as staff, he doesn't believe in that, man. He's like, I'm going to get somebody cheaper that I think can do the job. That's his philosophy.
Yeah. Well, listen, in Carolina, it's kind of worked. You can't argue against their
because of
regular season success.
Rod Brindamore took a hometown discount for years, established himself as one of the best coaches in the league, and then finally he got paid and made sure that his staff got paid and all of that. But like Rod Brindamore set that culture, and now Eric Tulsky is the guy, behind the curtain helping with the players. Like, to me, they have a singular situation. I know Tyler Dello's there. There are other people there. But I look at it, they've done a good job there for what they've been handed. The Leafs are a different animal. There's a board. There's 150 people that work in that organization. I don't know how many times it's been said to me, nobody in that organization is going to die of overwork. There's 3 people for everything. And that's maybe what Pelly was trying to streamline and get some of the cooks out of the kitchen. And you still need to do that, but you got to do it the right way and take the right people out and add the right people.
Yeah, well put. Yeah, and Shane Doan, apparently he's maybe going to interview in Vancouver, maybe for their GM job. And he's on the staff right now. All right, one more. What do you got, Jerry? Go ahead.
Jeff Hoffman will lose the closer role by the end of April if he hasn't already done it.
Well, that's a tough one.
This is 100%. We got to go quick here. There's one more Jerry we have to get to.
You get another Jerry in the bag.
Yeah, this is 100%.
It feels like it.
It's
but
gone
April,
tomorrow.
There's still another week and a half left, right?
Yeah.
I think Varland might be your guy. I think Jeff. He's still going to pitch. He'll be in high leverage spots. Just him and Varland will flip for a while, and he may 85. Get back to it down the road. But
85% for me. I want to give him a little bit of a glimmer of hope.
Glimmer of hope. I'll say 90%. All right, what else, Jerry? Go ahead. One last one.
That sneaky devil Mike Vrabel needs to make the playoffs next season to keep his job in New England. What a coinky-dink they were both at the same hotel.
Yeah.
Jerry's pulled that move before.
Is that right, Jerry? There's a scoop for you.
That's a tough one.
So what does he have to do? He's got to make the playoffs?
Got to make the playoffs to keep his gig.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in the Super Bowl last year, so high expectations for
of
Pats,
course.
But he's put a spotlight on himself, Mike Vrabel, man.
Well, it's interesting that Rossini lost her job, and Mike Vrabel, it's just like,
now technically she resigned, I believe, but still, I think we know what was coming. I get the impression The Athletic was not happy with her initial explanation. And I don't know what's going to happen with her career. Like, I'm very, very curious.
Well, it's difficult if these accusations come up and you have that cloud over you, whether you're male, female, anybody, to do that job.
As a reporter, absolutely.
Yes, because there'll be a trust level that'll be severely,
without
tainted.
question.
Yes.
And, from Vrabel's standpoint, and he said it yesterday, everyone looks up to him. Talk about culture and leadership and family and all this. And
he's got a lot of work to do too, Hayes, because when you're a leader and you say you got to be true to yourself and not be a fraud, well, you can't be saying all this stuff in meeting rooms and then all of a sudden you –
Yeah.
Urban Meyer
up to something. Exactly.
But I will say 100.
Urban is a great explanation.
Remember Urban Meyer was just remember how happy he was?
Yeah.
That one picture?
He was sitting on that chair at the fruit section in the supermarket grabbing stuff.
He was on cloud nine.
He was the happy. That picture alone.
Yeah.
Remember how happy he was?
Oh,
he was just
didn't take the flight home with the team. Never heard of before in pro sports.
Yeah,
his coach is going to stick around here.
I'm going to say 100% for Vrabel.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
he's got to have a good year.
I think the dust will settle on this, and
some tough memes out there. There's 30%. Some tough comments, right?
I know, but listen, he's a longtime Pat, and they were in the Super Bowl last year, his first year as a coach, and Bobby Kraft has had his own.
Yeah, he's had some issues. Yeah.
Imagine Bobby Kraft saying, "Hey, Frabes, you got to keep your nose clean." When he's got an Orchids of Asia poster behind his desk.
Hey, smarten up.
Come on now, Frabes.
Yeah, come on.
It was awesome. It was awesome when Tiger Woods was caught with his, the cheating stuff, and Arnie Palmer came out and said, "I'm really disappointed in Tiger, man." Dude, apparently back in the day, Arnie Palmer was wheeling around. He invented that stuff. Invented that stuff.
Drinking
and he was
Arnie Palmers.
Drinking Arnie Palmers. And Trump commented about certain stuff about Arnie.
Yeah. All right. Best bets coming up. Overdrive continues up on YouTube Live.
I got to tell you what he said after.
I know what he said.
We know.
Overdrive continues. Go ahead. Go to commercial. That's enough.
Drive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in the Edmonton game. I'm not going to play the total. It's high. It's 6.5, but I could see another shootout tonight. But I do think McDavid gets on the board. 2+ points. I'm going to parlay that with Zach Hyman scoring tonight. You're paying plus 215 on that parlay. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Same-game parlays available for every Stanley Cup playoff game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 19+, physically located in Ontario. They were throwing 2-3 guys at McDavid the other night, and I would think that continues. But this is the value of Joel Quenneville. Like, you're a young team, and there's some vets. Gudas isn't playing tonight, but this is where Quenneville, I think, can settle them down a little bit, right? And understand they got to go out and win tonight. They got to do what Utah did last night.
Yeah. Big response needed. Like, it's such a big mountain. It's so intense, and it's so hard to get an advantage, score a goal. You can't go down 2 Cobb, man.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Got to split going home if you're Anaheim tonight.
I agree.
And Pitt must win tonight as well. Pittsburgh has to win tonight.
So Trump golfed with Arnie Palmer.
I know.
And then he had the audacity to tell the world, this guy's a great golfer. And I saw him in the shower, and he's got a big wiener, too. He said that.
The tweet was just an outrageous tweet. Like, just outrageous information for the world to know.
Like, talking about Arnie Palmer's
like, what are you doing?
In the shower is so outrageous.
Anyway, we're out of here. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live. Every hour of every show up on TSN's YouTube channel. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Arnie, you had the goods. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.